Even though it becomes number 4 on this particular list, we thought, let's talk about the law of attraction first, because that's the one that everybody seems to roll off their tongue. In fact, some of us have used it, I'm not saying myself, but I've seen it used as a weapon against others. You know why this happened to you? Because you attracted it.
Hey guys, it's Dr. Tammy and this is the Naked Doctor Show.
And I am Cryssie.
We have a wonderful show today. This is just a fun topic.
Yeah, it's always a fun topic. Little woo-woo, little woo-woo conversation today.
It's, how do you even put it together? It's just say what it is. It's a study of what we call the 12 spiritual laws of the universe.
12 spiritual laws of the universe. Or as best as we were talking about it, as best that we can assume.
Yeah.
I don't think the universe would be limited to 12 or who decides. But as you go through them, they're those type of a structure of rules or laws that help you wrap your brain around things just a little bit better, so that when you're encountering something difficult, you can say, how do these apply?
I do a lot of Facebook Lives. In fact, for a whole year, I challenged myself to do one every single day. I know you do a lot of the Tiny Terra.
Yes.
But like every day for a year. So like, actually I got this notice one day and I was like, hey, you've done 365 Facebook Lives.
Doesn't that feel good?
The number one watched is the 12 laws.
Really?
So that's really fascinating to me.
So it is intriguing, not just to us.
Intriguing,
it's obviously intriguing to others.
It is. And so, okay, so here's the deal. Everybody's heard of the law of attraction, I think.
At this point, I would think. No, spoiler alert.
Which came out of the movie The Secret.
Yes.
And so that was like, have anything, get anything, be anything that you want to be.
And it was one of the first truly viral videos, like a grassroots viral video, because at the time when that came out, people were giving each other copies that they had made at home on DVDs or in some cases VHS, because that was still around when The Secret was first really published. Doesn't that sound like a million years ago?
Yeah.
But yes, that's how intriguing it was, that we felt like we kind of had to, hey, I've got this, I got to slip this to you so that nobody else sees.
It was the secret.
Oprah's even talked about it. You know how that makes it, how that goes. But this is one of those things that's out in the open. We understand things a little bit better than we used to, not as scary as it used to sound. And these 12 really put it into a structure that help you understand it better.
And do you think we kind of came into this life, like, especially in the era we are, what do they call us, Gen X? Is that who we are?
Yeah, I think we're Gen X at this point.
I always get those like millennials or baby boomers, but I think when we came in at a really interesting time, because we kind of came, we're the, kids who we wandered all day until it was dark, and we
were really unsupervised.
We were really unsupervised, and so we kind of came from this kind of moving into not so much structure growing up, and so some of us, I'm extreme rule follower. I am so risk averse.
Yeah.
So it's like I've kind of gone through my life. This is crazy because it's like, somebody was saying the other day that their kids are making all these mistakes and doing all this crazy stuff, right? My life was in reverse. It's like I did went to med school, went to college, did all those things, and now it seems like the last 10 years have been all the mistakes, the marriage.
I see. There wasn't. Now you were at the point in your life where you truly were making your own decisions.
Yes.
And if you've had that structure put on you up until a certain point, when you wake up and go, who is Tammy really? And there's not someone there going, well, here's when you brush your teeth, and here's when you, and I'm talking about bigger things.
That's
but
why. Oh my
right.
gosh,
So and then you feel like, what have I done? That's what that midlife crisis, I feel, is. It's a moment of awakening, and we can kind of put these together as, as we go. How does this really go over your life? Because that's why we study these things. Yeah. How do you make your life better? Yes. How do you make your day-to-day better?
Yes.
This is how. If you feel like you're wandering in the darkness, this may help you out.
And I always say, if I know the rules, I'll follow them, because I'm pretty much a rule follower.
So it does.
So we're going to give you 12
followers.
of them to
if you need
your
some
life.
structure, here we go.
We'll be right back with the Naked Doctor. The world of hyperbaric medicine is absolutely amazing. It's been around for more than 60 years, but what it does is hyper means more than, and baric is pressure. So it creates a pressure environment where oxygen can actually get into the cells. I think it should be used in every aspect of healing strokes, Parkinson's, I mean, so many uses, as well as injuries, because what you need when you injure yourself is to increase blood flow to that area. I had a good friend with a burn on his hand after 3 dives. It was a 3rd-degree burn. Now, after a couple weeks, you can't, and this was only 3 dives, you can't even see where the blister was. I've seen neurological injuries, brachial plexus injuries, with no movement and complete atrophy of the muscles, getting movement back within 3 days. And we're back. I'm Dr. Tammy.
And this is Cryssie.
And this is a fun show. I just love these, not rules, but sort of guidelines and sort of some freedom. And when you're trying to achieve results in your life and you've sort of lost the guardrails, like we just talked about.
A little bit.
How can you get some direction? And these are true beliefs to me, and the universe is so vast. And it doesn't matter what your spiritual belief is, if it's in God or universe or what you call it, the source, these apply. And I kind of broke them down as my studies for this even more into the workplace, your home life. So, you know, if you're struggling at work or at home, these are all things that could help you. And we talked about everybody knows the law of attraction. So
everybody does, even though it becomes number 4 on this particular list. We thought, let's talk about the law of attraction first, because that's the one that everybody seems to roll off their tongue. In fact, some of us have used it, I'm not saying myself, but I've seen it used as a weapon against others. You know why this happened to you? Because you attracted it. Well, it's not like that. It really is that we attract what we focus on, a lot like we tune a guitar, correct? So if you are someone that's a musician, you know if there's a room full of guitars and you hit an E string, all of those guitars are going to resonate if they are also tuned in the room. You'll be able to feel it and hear it. And so that's what that's saying, is if you are resonating with a poverty mindset, or you are resonating with nothing is good for me, then that filter of how you see life is gonna, that's really all you're gonna be able to see. And the law of attraction states that in order to change that view, if we want to attract what we want to us, we've got to change our vibration to match that. And that one seems pretty easy to grasp.
Yeah.
But we like to take it apart and make it hard.
Yeah, I do think that opportunities show up when you're looking for them. Otherwise, you're just kind of
when you're expecting them
away. Yeah, and so I think where the secret kind of went off a little bit was, it was like this stress of whatever you think about, you bring about. And so if you're not successful, you're doing something wrong.
What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong?
So I think that, and we beat each other, you know, beat each other up, we beat ourselves up, like, what are you attracting, you know? And so,
oh, you attracted this. This is because you're doing something wrong.
And you attract from where
and we get
you
very
are.
black and white. When this is, there are subtleties to this. It really is as subtle as what radio station are you tuned to. And if you're tuned to one particular station, or you find yourself stuck in one frame of thought that you can't seem to get out of, you just have to visualize that. I've got to change that station, change that vibration. How do I do that? Even just the desire to do it puts you in that receptive state. You're not doing anything wrong when you're asking questions. You're learning and finding out more.
Abraham Hicks is just a real familiar name if you don't know that name. It really changed my life, and you can YouTube that, but that was so much of vibration, because everything is vibration. Even your ears, they vibrate your tympanic membranes to have a hearing or a sensation, that a nerve ending that kind of goes to your brain and says, I heard something. Or even the sensory in your hands, everything's vibration. And so if you're vibrating a certain level, you're going to attract certain vibrations too. And it just really opened my eyes to a whole new world of thinking that way, because I always thought so black and white. I was in, you know, traditional medicine world and around a lot of people who are like, nope, this is the way it is, this is the way it is. So yeah, I think when you open yourself up to thinking, maybe thinking that maybe I need to look at what I'm thinking about.
Yes, or just those habits. Where am I limiting myself so that I'm not seeing what I'm after? I'm not seeing those opportunities even come to me. Those choices aren't even obvious to me because I have told myself that they're not available to me. And the law of attraction just says, you've got to resonate. You want success, resonate more of a success. And we could do an entire show on that. We've talked about that. Each one of these, we could actually do a whole show on. But the one that's on number one, and this is really sort of the basis if you think about it as you're building a structure.
It's so true. I never thought about it like
that. Is the law of divine oneness. Now, I know how I would kind of define that, and we have a paragraph here, but how would you, if someone just said, oh, the law of divine oneness, how would you define that, just thinking of it?
To me, it's everything. It is the whole embodiment of us, is that we are all one. And when you hurt someone, you hurt yourself. When you create a negative vibration in the world, you hurt everyone around you, including yourself. So oneness is to look at you and say, I am you and you are me. And we are, if I hurt you, the vibration that it creates, you know how you feel when you hurt somebody's feelings, it's awful.
Oh yes, I know how I feel. My husband and I talked about this. When you watch videos of someone hurt themselves, if they fall off of a skateboard or something, I will physically feel a sensation in my body. And I think that we are built in that way. I feel your pain. I need to know when you're in pain, first of all, if I'm another human and I need to help you, I got to feel that empathy. But it's because I also am you. It feels like the same light, like this is kind of saying the same light that's coming out from behind your eyes is the light that's coming out from behind mine. This is just the DNA in the body of Tammy, and this is the DNA in the body of Cryssie, and these are our different experiences, but we're really one. And if that's the case, then the whole field that we're in is also part of that oneness. And so there's a lot more going on between us than just the physical boundary. That also tells me that.
I think of that too, that as the oneness, it really keeps us from thinking that we're separate because it's so lonely. And so many times, and we have a show coming up on stress, when you feel alone, you feel like nobody understands you, and all of us just want to be heard. We want to be seen.
Right.
And when we don't feel that way, we really kind of fall away from that thought that we are all one. Okay, they're saying it's time for a little break.
I know,
and we are
and
rushing
this next
through
one
this.
is like so good and it's so important. We can go through that one pretty
It's everything. So when we come back, we're going to go through the second law, which is the law of vibration. We're going to go through number 3, which is the law of correspondence. We did number 4. We're going to do inspired action. Oh, I just love
inspired
all
action
of
is
these.
such a big one.
Oh, it is.
We may have to do more than one show.
Oh, I know. And 6 is the law of cause and effect. So we're going to rush through these a little bit and just kind of share, our thoughts briefly on these, but again, a whole show on all of them. So hang tight. We'll be right back with the Naked Doctor. The world of hyperbaric medicine is absolutely amazing. It's been around for more than 60 years, but what it does is hyper means more than, and baric is pressure. So it creates a pressure environment where oxygen can actually get into the cells. I think it should be used in every aspect of healing strokes, Parkinson's, I mean, so many uses, as well as injuries, because what you need when you injure yourself is to increase blood flow to that area. I had a good friend with a burn on his hand after 3 dives. It was a 3rd-degree burn. Now, after a couple weeks, you can't, and this was only 3 dives, you can't even see where the blister was. I've seen neurological injuries, brachial plexus injuries, with no movement and complete atrophy of the muscles, getting movement back within 3 days.
I was so excited for Ryder to get home and try this flavor because I knew he would love it. The fruits and greens, it's strawberry and kiwi flavored. He throws it in a glass. He loves this little stir. It creates a tornado. It's all about the fun. Fruits, veggies, fun. Hello, let's do it. Fills it up to the tip top because that's satisfying, right? I knew as soon as he grabbed that straw he was gonna love it, but I didn't think he'd have the whole glass down in under 3 minutes. His whole daily servings of fruits and veggies done.
Welcome back. I'm Dr. Tammy.
And I'm Cryssie.
And we are talking about the 12 spiritual laws of the universe.
Yes.
And we've gotten through 2.
We've gone through 2.
And
Well, you know, the universe is big.
It is
so
so
this
big.
might take a minute.
It is so big.
Oh, yeah, and it is kind of silly. It's like, well, how'd you come up with, well, we didn't come up with 12. These are actually based some on Hermetic principles. You can look that up if you want to know more. Wikipedia's got a lot on Hermeticism there. It's where we get the word hermit from, someone that would cloister themselves off and just study and study and study this. And then those, I think, since then, and that was back in, that was Egyptian study, I think, we've added to it, and we're humans, so we like to make structure and we add rules, but these really do break it down in a way that make it a lot clearer for us, I think.
Yeah, it's just a guideline kind of thing as you're studying.
Yeah.
And I would think it's really easy to be a monk out there, you know, in prayer and meditation.
Yes.
But we get the richness and the experience.
Yeah, we have to actually make the rubber hit the world. It would hit the road. It would be really easy if you just lived in a cave, I think, and just had time to think about things and never had to bump into other people. But for us, yeah, we have to make this work in a really complicated world. So this next one was the law of vibration, and we were saying science has told us now that everything vibrates at a particular speed or a particular frequency, and it affects how we experience it in the world. So vibration is the difference between a solid and a liquid or a mist, right? Vapor, all of those things. Yeah. So we can see that, how the law of vibration, but we don't think about how it affects what we're putting out from that frequency, and that's where that law of attraction comes back in.
You know, when you walk into a room and somebody's ticked off.
Yeah, we even call it vibes. We're like, oh, I got really bad vibes from that guy. Why do you think we call it that? Because everybody's putting up, what are they tuned to? You're picking that up. And if we've taught ourselves to turn that intuition down, but these laws help us understand why that intuition's there and what you're feeling. And then this next one is the law of correspondence.
Like what you said a while ago, writing thank you notes.
Right. No, it's not about correspondence. It's about how the outer world reflects what you are really feeling. And it doesn't have to be a woo-woo thought of, well, people aren't real and it's just a mirror to me. People are very real, but you have your own filter and belief system up so that how you see them and how you react to them is going to be how you are tuned internally. So if I've already decided that you don't like me, then I'm already going to have a filter up, and every little subtlety about you, I'm going to go, oh yeah, that's more that Tammy doesn't like me. I told you Tammy doesn't like me. And it'll just become more and more of that. So this law of correspondence says, understand that a lot of what you're seeing out here is a reflection of the belief in here, and it changes how you view the world.
And the first time you met me, you know, I could have been in a bad place. I could have, you know, I had a parent that was sick or, you know, anything. And had nothing to do with you, you
No,
know? So
no,
it's like,
and that's
then we
those
assume
assumptions
they
that
don't
we
like
make.
me,
Exactly,
and then
we
we
make
keep
assumptions.
perpetuating.
That's just one.
We look for things.
It's one of those things. But if you're choosing to put that belief on the world, then you are going to have reflected back at you things that reinforce that belief. Makes sense. We went to the law of attraction. What was this next one? I know you like this one.
Law of inspired action.
Inspired action. And how does someone tell the difference between just action and inspired action?
You know where I come up with that is the word procrastination. I have learned to accept what I call procrastination because I'm not inspired. And there's a reason. I mean, you could just be lazy and I'd rather go play in the park or something today. But there are times when I just think, I don't want to do that. And it's like painful and I just got to really make myself do it. But I like the term, the hell yes. If it's a hell yes, I'm in.
If it's a hell yes, I'm in. But if it's not, then it's a hell no. And that's also when people say, well, you just got to take action, you got to take action. There's a difference between inspired action, which feels like this is the right thing to do and it's the right time to do it. And then that, oh my God, I'm trying to find the right thing. Is this the right thing? Is this the right thing? Is this the right thing? And you do that over and over again. That's not inspired action. That's your energy being scattered everywhere. That's desperate
and
action.
it's unattractive.
Ooh, yes.
To
And
investors or to friends or family or relationships.
that desperate energy that
and then
you're
you
vibing
attract
out.
the desperate people.
Exactly.
Law of attraction.
That's exactly
there
it.
you go.
So
Full
inspired
circle.
action means that you've centered yourself. You understand the reflection. You've got some things. You're not so much worried about that noise. And so you know the next action, oh, this is exactly the right action to take and it's the perfect time. Bam. That's inspired. And
it flows.
it'll be more powerful than all of the busy work you could possibly do.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes you just need to rest. Just rest.
Yeah, and it's
Go
okay
play
to
with
do
your
that.
kids, laugh, have fun, and don't be hard on yourself because it may just not be the right time. And I've had big projects in my life that I just totally just fizzled out because I wasn't inspired. And I'm glad they did because it just wasn't where I was at. And it also freed me up to do other things.
And we have
that I wanted to
glamorized
do.
that grind, and there is success to come from grind. But what is the word grind? You're literally wearing something down faster and faster. That's what a grind is. So it is doing that to you on the back end. We're looking at how to create without feeling a deficit.
Yes, I love that. Cause and effect, I think that one's pretty easy. We don't have to do too much. You do something.
You know what the
and
cause and
there's
effect, though? Real quick, we apply this to miracles. We go, and then a miracle happens. Why not? Because we have to understand that the universe is so big, although it's all connected and it's all one, we may not know the cause of the effects that we
that's
receive.
true.
And that's where you have to let it go. Because up here, you want to see the cause.
I like that.
I want to see that this mug moved over here because I moved it. I don't want to see it move by itself. That's a miracle. But there could be a magnet under there. There could be a breeze. There could be a lot of things causing that you may not understand. So the law of cause and effect says, expect the miracle. Don't worry how it got there. You don't have to explain everything.
I like that.
Receive
That's a
the
different
gift.
way than I thought about that one. I was just thinking like a consequence of your behavior.
And there are absolutely there are consequences of behavior. What you put out comes back to you. And even in old traditions, there's that threefold rule. Don't wish ill on someone else because everything comes back to you threefold.
It does. Okay, I think
All
we're
right,
out of
let's
time. This
see.
is so fun.
This is compensation, meaning that, right, I think of that when I'm doing energy work for someone else. If they truly value what I'm giving to them, there's a compensation, there's a give and take. No one leaves with a feeling of deficit.
I like that. And some of these you're going to want to go in more depth. And you can look these up. Just literally Google the 12 laws of the spiritual realm or rules. Transmutation of energy.
How things are always changing.
Just always
Nature
changing.
never stays the same.
Oh, we say stressed out because transition is so hard for us as humans.
Even though it's part of growth, it's part of what we do.
And the law of polarity, just the difference in things and accepting
Cold,
differences.
hot, black, white.
Up, down,
Yeah, if you're
left,
feeling
right.
ill, just on the other side of that is wellness. You just kind of have to change that focus.
We've got rhythm. I like to think of in business or in sales or in anything in your life, ups and downs, and there's seasons and moon rotations and earth rotations and
nothing ever stays
constructs that we
exactly the
say.
same.
And there's good days and bad days. So if
Think
you're on
about
a bad
that
day,
socially, people that get so upset about how society is right now. Understand there's swing, there's balance. It's not always going to be like this.
And then the 12 is the law of gender, which is
Law of
pretty
gender.
interesting. And that is just that there's a masculine and feminine. Every language other than the English language is German, the French, there's a masculine and feminine. And there are different properties that come, and that doesn't mean that one is good or one is bad or one is stronger and one is weaker. I really just think
it's the necessity for both. I even think about it like a cold front. If you don't have the hot air and the cold air, it doesn't create the thunder and the lightning and the tornado.
Oh, I like
so we need the receiving energy, the feminine that holds and creates and gestates. And we also need that energy that punches through, that gets the energy in there, the sperm that
I like that
inseminates the
analogy.
egg. It has to be. You have to have the
blunt,
receptive
but
and you
yeah.
have to have the assertive.
Yeah.
You have to have the balance of both for creation to take place. You don't have to make it like, well, gender. It's not that. It's the energy and how it's been defined since we
we have distorted
started
it,
language.
right?
We've just distorted it over time. But this says you don't have to agree with that. You don't have to agree with any of these. It's kind of like gravity. You don't have to agree with gravity, but you're probably gonna, jump out a window. You'll find out it's gonna work whether you agree with it or not.
Yeah.
That's a lot of these principles. It doesn't matter if you really embrace them.
Yeah.
Once you kind of understand that things just work a certain way. If you take a clock apart, a clock works a certain way, and then you can go, oh, I understand this better. I see why computers are big that way. I see why when I put in this, I get this. And the universe is big and vast. We can't really interface with it directly. We have to have something like a phone, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh, we're at the end of our show today, and I just thought we might have some takeaways. And again, there's so much here, there's so much meat, and you can dive in as much as you want on your own study and then come back to the next show, and we are going to talk more about these in depth. But the takeaways I really wanted to leave you with is, once you know the rules, it can change everything for you. And not that these are the rules, but these are the concepts that are based on the rules. And then maybe just start with one a week and just say, this week, I like when you had your word of the new year.
Yes.
Maybe this week I'm going to focus on the law of attraction, or this week I'm going to focus on the law of compensation or something like that. And I'm going to implement that into my work life, my social life, and maybe even find a friend. That
Like you and I do.
Yeah.
We kind of sit with a topic and we discuss it and see what comes up. You're just installing in your filter, this is what I'd like to see examples of this week. I'd like to see examples of how this law works in my life. And then kind of let that go and notice where you do notice that. Nobody has to agree with you on it. And there's not like gold stars or I got a negative, I got a B minus this week. It's not like that. It's just a fun way. When people talk about living a multidimensional life, thinking about the way your life works and how the universe works is a way to open your mind up to that. It doesn't have to be threatening or threaten anything that you currently believe. It's just like going from black and white to color makes it a lot more fun.
Yeah, make it feel good and make it fun, or why do it at all? Because it doesn't make sense. That's why you watch this show, because we're so fun.
Because it's fun, because we're fun. Come on.
We love you all very much. We hope you have a blessed week. You can find us at thenakeddoctorshow.com. And Cryssie, you can find her at Low Key Magical.
Yeah, Low Key Magical with a K on Facebook, YouTube.
All the social media, so just type it in, look us up. And just pick one of these this week and just focus on that and see how that can change your life. And if we've made a little difference here, that's really our biggest intention.
Plant a seed.
Plant a seed. All right, make sure you come back, and we will see you next time on The Naked Doctor Show.